If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today, September 29, 2020. And today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq continue bouncing. And I'll explain in just a second what I mean by bouncing. But first, let's take a look at the various markets. So there's no major economic event scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets first, the euro is struggling to break higher as it inches closer to resistance-ish level. While looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq both continue to bounce. We'll take a look in a second why I say it's bouncing. Looking at the commodities, gold rises to 1880-ish level, while oil pretty much unchained at that $40 a barrel. And lastly, looking at the stocks, it's a rotation. The bank stocks are strong, and Amazon are the reasons why the markets are higher. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. Let's go first take a look here at a daily chart of the Euro USD, and you can see pretty much that we're inching closer to the 1677-ish level right there as we've bounced from our low of 1613-ish level. So we are in a tight range, but altogether, if we look at the markets, okay, especially with the dollar as it inched stronger with the sell-off last week, okay, but the currencies are not paired, meaning to say that the currencies are not bouncing, not getting stronger as the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq is getting stronger. I would expect the USD to actually get weaker much more, to be somewhere in the 1750-ish level and bouncing there. So showing some relative weakness in the Euro USD. GBP USD a little bit stronger at this 128.60-ish level, as we've seen it actually make a little bit of a stronger bounce vis-a-vis the Euro. So the Euro is struggling and still lagging behind the GBP versus the dollar. Looking at the USD Rand, we're pretty much there. Okay, this is really where I would have expected us to be. I would have expected us to get a little bit weaker, maybe 1755, 1733, but right now we are inching a little bit closer here, a little bit stronger for the Rand. Now jumping into commodities, especially gold, look at this. Okay, a beautiful bounce off of our second support level. Double bottom at that 1855-ish level. I did mention that last week. It was a beautiful buy. And we're right now trading at 1878 right now, just below that 1880-ish level. But I do expect this to continue being a little bit choppy. There are some inflationary issues, but there are also deflationary issues with all these stimulus packages hitting the markets, that governments and central banks are trying to pump money into the markets so that the economic system doesn't collapse. Now jumping into oil, it's not much of any news there. We're really trading in a very tight range, and I don't expect us to break out of it. However, looking at the Nasdaq, this is where it really got very interesting, as it initially lost a lot of momentum since the beginning of the month of September. We went down from 12,445 down to 10,779 and then bounced off of it. Okay, this was really the spot last week. We're trading at 11,421. Now this is a minor resistance-ish area. Okay, so I do want to highlight that. Okay, so we do need to break above it if that's going to happen later today. Something to consider. Okay, so looking at this, I'd like to look at some of the high-tech stocks to see if they're going to bounce above it. Okay, looking at the Dow Jones, struggling right behind it. I would expect the Dow Jones to be at 28,000. It's not. So out of the two, the Dow Jones is definitely weaker. However, looking at some of the individual stocks, we see a little bit of things perking up in actually the Dow Jones. Looking at Apple, really challenging that 112-ish level, okay, did bounce off of that 102-ish level all the way to 112. But remember, our high for the year is 132, okay? So we do have to take that into consideration, that we're bouncing, but not bouncing as strong. When we look at Facebook, not strong at all. When we look at Microsoft, also down on the day, rallied to that 210 level, but couldn't sustain it. Okay, so I'd like to see some sustainability here. Okay, however, looking at Amazon, much stronger, 3163 above that 3,000-ish level as we consolidated down at that 2876 last week and just seen it go higher. Now, I'm not convinced that this is a rally, okay? And the reason I'm not convinced is that not all the stocks are going. It's only individual stocks that are pushing the markets higher. So I do expect this rally, quote unquote, to actually end. Okay, so I the question is when. Okay, we do have resistance-ish level at this 32-ish level. If we look at JP Morgan, also it bounced. Okay, so this is one of the bank stocks that really took a nice hit from last week to this week, from 102 down to $91 a share. So the rotation is happening in the markets. Just have to really find yourself that element, okay, when it does correct itself. So remember, we are bouncing here, but this is not a rally. So keep that in mind as we go into today's trading. Now, we do have some major corporations coming out with some corporate news this week with earning reports, but it's not yet solidified, as to which direction the market is waiting and which direction the market is going. I think we're going to be consolidating for a bit more time until we break out from one of these two momentums, okay? But there will be a correction, and it's just a matter of time. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.